All right, to help you visualize what we are doing here with Apache, I went over to draw.io and created a quick diagram to help highlight this. If you haven't used draw.io, it is a free tool. It's actually really cool. You can do quite a bit with it as far as drawing diagrams. So I just quickly created this. So what I want to go over here is we're going to have traffic coming in from the internet hitting Apache on port 80. And what we're going to do is we're going to configure Apache to act as a proxy to our Spring Boot application. So this can get a little confusing, but I want to help you visualize it. So we're going to be running on the CentOS AMI that we stood up. So this is going to be running a virtual machine. We just installed Apache. And what we're going to do is configure Apache to say, hey, anything that's coming in here for this virtual host, and part of the request is going to give us a host name. So we're going to set up a host name and tell it for that virtual host to act as a virtual server and direct that traffic to this Docker container for Spring Boot. That's going to have the Spring Boot JVM running inside of it. So, well, it gets a little confusing. So we'll have traffic coming in on port 80. That is going to get proxied to port 8080, where the Docker daemon is going to be listening on port 8080, and it's going to proxy traffic on its port 8080 to the Docker container inside the Docker container on port 8080. So a couple hops here can get pretty confusing, but this is actually a real nice way that we can be running here to set this up. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to set up Apache to proxy that traffic. So I'm going to come over here, get over into the terminal, and we want to go to cd etc, cd/etc, cd httpd, and we're going to cd into conf and do a quick ls, and we'll list out, and there is the httpd.conf, and that is the main configuration file for Apache. And I'm going to go into VI and edit him, and I'm going to come down here, and this section here, I went in before the video and set this up, and I just need to go in and delete these hashtags to uncomment this. Now, this configuration here of the virtual host, what this is saying is to listen on a star port 80 for any traffic. I think I could actually put RFB up there, but I am doing a subdomain off my domain, springframework.guru. So for running for brews, RFB, and all this configuration here, I actually stole it from my other course on deploying DevOps on AWS. And this actually came from Jenkins, showing how to set up Jenkins. So this stuff can get pretty confusing. It's kind of hit or miss for me personally too. So don't feel bad if you're confused here, but we're setting up some pretty low level networking stuff within Apache. And this entire thing basically says, listen on port 80 and proxy all the traffic to port 8080, and anything that comes back from port 8080, send it back out port 80. So that's the long story short here. So I just went in and uncommented this, and I am going to do a :WQ. If you're not familiar with VI, that's saying write and quit. Now that updated the conf file, and what we want to do now is system control restart HTTPD. I think the previous version was Apache. So we're going to restart the Apache daemon, and that restarted. And let's do a ps -ef grep, and we'll take a look at that. And that is running. Now, if you get a typo in your configuration, Apache will die. It will not be happy, and it will roll over and die, and you'll have to look at the logs to see what the typo is. Then let's take a quick look at this again. And so it is, the syntax is very important. So we have basically an XML block here that Apache is going to be reading. If you have something that's off with your case, or if you're missing a slash or something, Apache is not going to be happy about that. So when you're going through and configuring that, be very careful. So at this point now, Apache is configured to listen for requests for that host of rfb.springframework.guru. And for any traffic coming into this system for that host is going to get proxied over to our Spring Boot application, which we have not configured. We've got a few more steps here, but that has not been done yet. But Apache is all ready to do its thing. We have a few more steps that we need to complete, and then we will have this up and running with Apache in front of it. So that concludes the Apache configuration. We have a few more steps, and we'll get into that in the next videos.